Today we're going to continue in the theme of Thanksgiving. We don't want to let the turkey go so fast because this is time, the season that we can really focus and thank God for that. So I want to talk about where are the nights in Luke chapter 17, verse 11 to 19 is very famous, familiar story. Jordan can come up to read this for us.
On the way to Jerusalem, he was passing along between Samaria and Galilee, and as he entered a village, he was met by 10 lepers who stood at a distance and lifted up their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." When he saw them, he said to them, "Go and show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. Then one of them, when he saw he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. And he fell on his feet at Jesus' feet, giving thanks. Now he was a Samaritan. Then Jesus answered, "Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except for this forgiver?" And he said to him, "Rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well."
Let's pray again. Father God, we thank you for this Thanksgiving thing, for us to have the opportunity to think more, to appreciate more what you given to us. So may you open our heart to let us know how much blessing you given to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. When it comes to life, the critical thing is whether you take things for granted or take them with gratitude. Take them for granted or take it with gratitude. I think very often we take things for granted. We also have cell phone, we also have internet, we also have all of this, and if not, what do? We complain, right? So Christmas, not Christmas season, Thanksgiving season is really help us to know, to focus on giving thanks. Actually, if you go to the new place, what are the new words you're going to learn? Usually, first you learn how are you, right? Or maybe next thing you know how to say thank you, right? So let's give some tests. How to say thank you in Chinese?
谢谢。
In Cantonese?
多谢。
Doje. Okay. In Taiwanese? Oh, wow. In Korean? In Indonesia?
Terima kasih.
Oh, that's so long. Terima kasih? Okay. Malaysia? Same. Wow. Latin? No, Latin. Spanish. Brazil. Okay. French. Japanese. What else? Huh? What? Italian. Okay, how about Russian? Huh? Spasiba, yeah. I'll say 19. Okay, spasiba. What else? Some other language? German. German. Okay. How about Hebrew? No? I think that's a total thing. Okay, what other language means cover a lot. Alright, it's good that we all know the language of giving thanks. It's very important. Okay, wow. You're so excited to learn all this, say all this different language. Huh? But I think giving thanks is not just verbally, it's even more important from our heart. And we will learn from this story to see how God wants us to do. So I'll just quickly review this story. You know, Jesus, his ministry is all around here. We just went to Israel. By the way, the church already decided to have another trip in 2019, October 30th depart, and November 10th come back. Okay, so if you're interested, pray with them, but that will be only in Chinese, right? So Jesus mainly is the ministry is in Galilee. Okay, it's very easy to know. I hope you understand this geographic. Galilee, Samaria, and Judea. Okay, and mostly Jewish people are in Galilee and Judea. In between is Samaria that don't like to be associated with. Why? Because Samaria was occupied by Syria before, and they bring in a lot of foreigner into this land. So the Jewish people mix marriage with other race. So the pure Jewish people, they don't like to associate with them because they think they are unclean. So normally they don't want even to live with them. So you can see from the story of the Bible, many times we speak of the Samaritan, especially this story, right? So Jesus on the way to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is down here, and his home is here. So he's coming down from Jerusalem, and going to pass by Samaritan. And what happened? He met who welcomed him? We just read a story. 10 what? 10 lepers. Okay, what are the lepers? You know what type of disease they are? It's most terrifying disease in that time. Even worse than the death penalty. Why? Because when you get that leper, you lost immunity. You don't feel pain. So it's very easy to get infected. So do you know if you feel pain, that's a gift to you. If someone makes you feel pain, that's a gift to you. Because you know how to protect yourself. If you don't feel pain, that you can just keep on hurting so you don't know. And that's what leprosy is. Also, the second is very contagious. And back then, still no way to heal you. So if you get this disease, you're going to be cast out, living outside. You cannot live with normal people. And even people come close to you, you need to say, unclean, unclean. So it means that get away from me. So you can think about when people have this type of illness, is very, very terrible for them. They cannot live with their family, they cannot have a normal life. The rest of the life, they just only can stay with those people who has leprosy. And this is a group of 10. Okay, so you can see how desperate these people. When Jesus passed on into this village, what did they say? They see Jesus in the distance. They shouted to Jesus, "Have mercy on us." And what Jesus said? Jesus said, "Oh, you got healed?" No, Jesus sent him to who?
Priest.
To priests. Especially, the Jewish law said if you are not clean, you have this type of illness, you cannot come to church, you cannot come to people. And the priest, if you got healed, you need to check by the priest. So when the priest say you're clean, then you're clean, alright? Wow, back then the priests do a lot of things, right? They also need to kill the chicken, kill the lamb, kill the cow, but also need to be a health inspector. Wow, they must also have a medical degree. Wow, not easy to be a priest back then. So Jesus said, just go to see the priest. And on the way, what happened? On the way, Bible didn't say when you get there, or just as they do it on the halfway. But what happened to them? They all got healed. Wow, isn't it a great miracle? And we were happy if the story just ended there. Anybody happy, right? Jesus passed by the village, 10 people shouted, "Have mercy on me!" And Jesus says, "Go to let the priest examine yourself," and then on the way there, they got healed. Wow! Very good story, right? But the story ended there? No. The one troublemaker. In a way, it's Jesus commanded him. But for other 10, maybe think, oh, this is a troublemaker, right? Because one guy went back. So Jesus questioned, where are the 9? Where are the 9? Then Jesus answered, where are the 10? Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Was no one found to return to give praise to God except this foreigner? So that means maybe other 10, they are Jewish. Only this is Samaritan. And also very interesting, Jesus knows how many he healed. Whoa. Jesus knows how many he healed. You don't say, oh, sometimes we see there's a big crowd. I just hide in the crowd and maybe I'll be healed and then nobody knows. Jesus knows. He knows how many. And only one returned. So that means what? Jesus is back. We give thanks to you. Right? You say, where are not the 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? So Jesus expected, interesting, right? Jesus expected, give thanks. Maybe sometimes we do some good deeds. We don't, it's okay. We don't need to give thanks to me. But interesting, Jesus wants us to give thanks. And in Romans 1:21, when we talk about the people, they don't recognize God, that also point out the giving because they don't give thanks to God. This the word said, for although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him. But they become futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Interestingly, you see, giving thanks is not for the benefit of God. Giving thanks is a benefit for us who receive God's goodness. Here they said, because they didn't give thanks to God, so their thinking become futile, means in vain, and their foolish heart was darkened. Wow. Isn't it interesting? If you don't give thanks, you're going to be in darkness. So we want to see what happened to these 9 people. This interesting. I found out these notes. There's some people try to make it. Okay, 10 got here, right? And 1 come back with it. And what happened to other 10? Can you make some reason for them? Why those 9 didn't come back? I'll give you one example. One way to see if the cure was real. Right? He want to wait longer. Maybe just illusion or whatever. What other reason you can come up for those 9 people?
They didn't have faith.
Huh?
They didn't have enough faith.
They don't have enough faith? So they didn't want to go back? Oh.
They don't think they don't think.
Okay, what other reason you can come up with? Yeah? They took it for granted. Okay. What else?
They died.
Huh? What?
They died.
They died? What do they die? What other reason? Oh yeah, let's find another one. They said, one way to see if it would last, right? Pastor, right? Oh, maybe it's just one day I want to see is that really healed. Okay. More, Alan? One said you could see Jesus later. Well, not too bad. Maybe I'll bump into him. Okay? One decided he had never had leprosy. Wow. He totally forgot he had the problem. Right? One said he could have gotten well anyway. One gave the glory to the priest. Why? Because the priest right here. Thank you, priest. Alright. One said, oh well, Jesus didn't really do anything. Oh. One said, any rabbi could have done it. Jesus is not any special. The last one said, I was already much improved to begin with. There's someone wrote on this, I find it interesting. How about you? What do you think? What's thinking these 9 people in your mind? Why did they go back to return? To give thanks to Jesus. But before that, I found it very interesting. Jesus can heal them right on the spot, right? The 10 approached to them, and Jesus said, "Be healed." And actually, that happened many times like that, right? Maybe that would be easier for them. They can just say, "Oh, I'm healed. Thank you, Jesus." Right there, right? But this time, Jesus didn't do that. He sent them to see priests. I don't know how far they need to walk. But because they were sent away, if they want to give them, they need to turn. They need to turn back. So we see this first guy, only this one, he turned back. Then one of them, who he saw that he was healed, turned back. So I want to see from this how we can give thanks to the Lord. So maybe here the first thing we need to turn back. We need to turn back. There needs to make effort. This book says, choosing gratitude. Gratitude is a choice. If we fail to choose it by default, we choose ingratitude. Isn't it true? I know we okay say thanks in verbally, but the question is our heart really thanks? And this book said it's a choice. We need to make an effort. If you don't make an effort to choose, our default is we will give thanks. Isn't it true in our life? So look at the verse that says he saw he was healed. Okay? So we need to remember, turn back who he was before. So Bible said, praise the Lord my soul, and forget not all his benefits. Forget not all his benefits. God wants us to forget many things. Alright? We forget our past and move forward, right? But many things God wants us to remember. And so we want to turn back. Alright? And you can see many holidays, many events in the Bible that God designed especially for us to remember. First, we went back to Passover. You know the story of Passover, I don't want to keep repeating it. But the thing is, the Passover is not just one-time event. It's every year God wants Israel to celebrate that. So when they celebrate this Passover together, you see their children will say to you, what do you mean by this service? And then the parent will say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, for he passed over the house of the people in Israel in Egypt. You see, every year God designed this Passover. So for the parent to keep on passing this story, how God led them out of Egypt, to remember. Alright? So that's roughly about 1491, not exactly year, but it's about that. Okay. Maybe we also need to back to the Jordan River. What? That's 40 years later, right? Israel is in the wilderness for 40 years, and then after they passed the Jordan River, God asked them to pick 12 stones for 12 tribes, make it a pile, and also to remember that. Then you can tell that the water of the Jordan will cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. And so this stone should be there for people as a memorial forever. You go to Washington, D.C., you go to places that see those monument is for us to remember. Maybe you, especially, we need to back to Calvary, right? Every month of the year, every worship time, remember what Jesus has done. So that's also remember. In Thanksgiving, you know when is the very first Thanksgiving celebrated in this country? What year?
1620.
Close.
1622.
1620 is the year, the period landed in Massachusetts. But do they celebrate Thanksgiving right away?
1621. 1621.
Yeah. Okay, very good. And you know the story, right? I hope you know. So interesting. this semester I was teaching a class in the seminary. So last week I asked my student, do you know the story of Thanksgiving? Oh, my students, this is adult, okay, this is not kids. And then one adult said, oh yeah, I know that when the pilgrims here, the God sent a turkey from heaven to them. Whoa, I couldn't stop laughing. God sent a manna from heaven, so what is a manna chicken? It is so funny that if we don't remember the story, then we forgot about it, right? So check out the story, all right? I don't have time to repeat here. The pyramids arrived in 1620, right? A really difficult time, but they survived for the first winter. They lost half. So about 100 people, only 50 left. And then this springtime come, Indian came. And this Indian can speak perfect English. His name is what? Squanto, right? Squanto, no English because he was kidnapped many years before Pilgrim arrived. He was sold to Europe, and then the master brought him and teach him English. Later on, he went back to his own tribe, found out his own tribe all died. And so other tribe adopted him, and he was there to breed pilgrim, and that teach them how to plant corn, how to do all this. So they have good harvest, and that's why the first harvest they have this celebration with Indian and give them to whom? To God. So you can see we also picture the first declaration of proclamation of the first national Thanksgiving. That's George Washington. He said, we need to acknowledge the promise of mighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits. Probably we don't remember now, we just, Thanksgiving, we just eat turkey. Who do we give thanks for? We thank for friends, thank for parents. Yes, important, but ultimately, do remember we need to recognize, acknowledge it's God. Do you think about it? Or just, big feast. Black Friday, run by. So first thing to have a thankful heart is to turn back. Where you go back to? Everyone has a story to go back to. If you don't have a story to back to, then you lost how you're going to get that. You can't think for granted. Especially we as parents, as first generation immigrant, or your parents are. I always want to say, use the opportunity to tell your children how you first came to this country with nothing, with not too many, and now God bless you so much. We need to tell the story, tell your children what happened when this came. Or children, ask your parents. As a parents, when they came, don't just think you got bullied. Okay, your parents came to this country, they also got bullied. But let's work hard and continue to press on. Don't let people say, I got bullied, and then you just have an excuse to do whatever bad thing. Just like pilgrims. They came here, they suffered. But they didn't just let the suffering defeat them. They press on. So, we need to back to way. Especially for Christians, you back to when you were still in the darkness, how God rescued us. We need to continue to remember His story. If we will forget that, we're going to take everything for granted, and you're going to lose that gratitude. Especially for this church. Every Sunday you come here, now we take for granted to have such beautiful sanctuary, right? But for many of us, we remember the days we were in the hotel. We remember the days we need to, every morning we need to carry those sound system. We remember the day every morning we need to put a sign on the door outside the hotel. We remember, don't forget that. If we forget about that, we start complaining, here's some problems. Yes, they're going to have to improve. But do we remember when we have nothing on this? Do we remember how this church passed so many tests? We pray so hard on every test. and God passed them. So remember, we could go back. Second, we need actually give thanks. So he came back, he praised God with a loud voice, and he fell on his face at Jesus' feet. Give him thanks. He didn't go back to just complain. He goes back to give thanks. I put it here is to give thanks as component. He praised and felt is all a gesture to give thanks. Just like when you give thanks, you say, right? Well, I think also for we Christians, when we give thanks to God, this is something more than that. First, we need to praise Him. Praising God with a loud voice. On Sunday morning, if you, during the praise and worship time, you can sing with loud voice, there is something if you experience of gratitude. If we do experience that struggle and someone rescue, won't you shout to the Lord? Won't you? Remember that you cry out so much, God help me, and God rescue. Won't you shout to the Lord? Thank you, thank you. I remember that in Taiwan we need to serve in the military. Back then we need to pass a test in order to be an officer. If you don't pass the test, you could be a regular soldier, and that's heaven and earth difference. You know, Evan, you know, right? If officer and the regular soldier is big difference in the military. And only 20 or 30% people can pass the test. Thank God. I wasn't the best top student, but I was just passed. When I find out, they told me, they said, oh, Lenny, you got into the officer list. I couldn't stop shouting. My dorm is up on the hill, and my school is down the hill. So I have my motorcycle. Boom! Come down from the hill, and I now start screaming, praise the Lord! So when if we really know God giving to us so much, praise God with a loud voice. Show the gratitude to Him. Second, that's why you see the Psalm 104 say, enter His gate with thanksgiving, and His court with praise. Give thanks to Him. Praise the name. Every morning, every Sunday you come here, you come with thankful heart. That's the first thing. You're not coming with grumpy face to God. Ooh. No, you come in His gate, right, with thanksgiving. Second, to worship. He fell on his feet, fell on his face at Jesus' feet. Right? You see, when you have a praise and you really got bow down to worship Him. So you see, the gratitude, the thanksgiving is so important in our life, especially Christian life. We often miss that. And that's why we couldn't really praise Him, we cannot really worship Him, because we lost that gratitude. We don't know what happened to Jesus died for us. We don't know how significant that is. We don't know we forget how much God has blessed us, because we take for granted. So you can whine or wait. Which way you want? No lunch. The lunch is not good. Which way you want? Alright? So, gratitude brings us really praise and worship Him. And the most challenge is to give thanks always in all things. You may say, this leper is easy, right? He got healed. Of course he need to give thanks and worship God. But remember, if you didn't do that, then how can we give thanks in all things? And this God can connect to us. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Ephesians 5:20, give thanks always and for anything to God the Father in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. So you see, giving thanks is very important. That God wants us to give thanks in all circumstances, in all things, and always. You think it's that easy? No, right? Especially when we face the difficulties, when we face the loss, when we face how can you still give thanks to the Lord? And that's why we need to practice our muscle now. When it's good time. If you're in a good time, you didn't exercise, how can you do it? Just like a soldier, right? If you're during the training time, you don't exercise, then in the wartime, how can you fight? You even can't carry the gun. You couldn't carry all this helmet. It's quite heavy, right, Evan? It's quite heavy, right? Even just put on all those skills in a regular war, how can you fight? So we need to build up our muscle now when it's sunshine, when it's good. So when the day is dark, and you still can give thanks. And we see joy, right? When God take away all his stuff, and he still say, God give, take it away, still give thanks to the Lord. So that's start this Thanksgiving season. Cultivate. Make our muscles strong to give thanks. All the time, always. And you know the Hebrew family learned this. After the trip from Israel, I really want to learn more about Hebrew culture. It's our Jewish culture is very, very interesting because God's instruction, God's intended life is just on Sunday. God wants us to live in His blessing always. And you know, for the Jewish family, every morning, every kid wake up, they need to pray this prayer called Modeh Ani. Modeh Ani means what? I thank you.
I thank you.
I don't know. First thing when you wake up, what do you say? What's your response? Still too early. Knock off the alarm, or I don't know. You're already very grumpy. But for Jewish kids, until you wake up, that's a prayer. Prayer, okay? You need to pray. I thank you, living and eternal King, for returning my soul within me in compassion. Great is your faithfulness. Do you know every morning when you can wake up? Wow, that's a miracle. Do you know that? So as soon as you wake up, thank God for giving another new day. Yeah, think about it. How come people just go to sleep and then wake up? Sometimes probably didn't wake up. So from this small thing, that's practice. Practice giving thanks. And in the end, you see that Jesus said to the guys, rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well. And that's the original text that said you are healed. You're saved. You're saved. So 10 men was healed, but only 1 man was saved. Which one you want? Or maybe we want both, right? But more important is we are saved. So this one return, Jesus said, your faith has saved you. And God help us on this Thanksgiving time. Can the president come up? We need to think about it, to think of how God has done in our life, in our family, in our church. How much you're thankful. And especially, I want to challenge you, even you're facing the difficulty now. Give thanks for the difficulty. I know it's tough, but when we start to give thanks for the difficulty and the challenge, God will turn it around. At least turn your eyes around. Turn our focus not on the problem, but God. And that's the test of faith. Thank God for the opportunity. Carry it. This song is very also the hymn, but it's very, very easy. If you say, count your blessings, name them one by one, then you will be surprised what God has done. So let's sing this song and really think, like, and count God's blessing. wishing in all is lost. Count your many blessings, name them one by one. And give surprise you wonder the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Are you ever burdened with the load of care? Does the blessing heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every thou will cry. When you give things as the day goes by. Count your blessings, and them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, and them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Okay, when we sing the chorus, count your blessings. Point to the person next to the right and say, count your blessings. Hey, okay. Count your blessings, and them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, and them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, and them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, and them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Hallelujah. Oh, that's all. We thank you for all so much blessings. Let them count them one by one. Let us turn back to counting. Let us make an effort to go back to give thanks. Lord, let's help make us a person who knows how to give thanks, so we can throw out to praise and worship you, Lord. And so in all circumstances, in all times, we can thank you. Still, Lord, just thank you so much for you give us this opportunity to give thanks to you. Now may the grace of Lord Jesus Christ, love of God, and fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us from now until